Still wondering which power station sounds like this? Still wondering where the joy resides? It's only from your modern lifestyle radio. Lead Radio LR 106.3.
All right, welcome back. It is still the Alpha Show with Islamia on Lead Radio 106.3, and this is still the Business Monday. We're having such an insightful and interesting conversation. I know we don't like to talk about money so much, but yeah, we will talk about it today. Today, you're gonna learn. We're talking about finance, budgeting for household women, and also in small scale business. We have Ambassador Dr. Lola Odeyale. She's spoken to us about what it means to be financially independent, why it's important to be financially independent, some budgeting strategies that you can use, and you're talking about the emergency fund now, which is what I want to talk about more, because I mean, just like you said, there are people that are struggling even from their businesses. Maybe they make, let's say, 50,000 naira per month, and every month you don't always have something that you have to pay for. You also eat, you also wear clothes, you also you not look like your problems, because that's another thing. So and some people also have about multiple incomes. They have like 2 or 3, and if you still put it together, they are still not able to come up with something, because I was like, everything is just the way that it is. So people just maybe like give up sometimes, and just like, when the money comes, if I need to buy something, I'll buy something. And sometimes the things that you need, you don't buy them because they are so expensive. Even when you budget for it, you see that, I need this thing, but because it's so expensive, I'm just going to leave it alone. I'm not going to do anything. So how, what are the best ways now for women now to try to build an emergency fund, no matter how much you are earning? Even if it's like 2,000 naira, 1,000 naira, how can you do it? Because you, as a woman, you'll be looking at it from the fact that, I need to do this thing. These are the things I need to do. This is the emergency, because right now I don't have the things that I need. So what are the best ways to try to build that emergency fund no matter how much I earn?
I would say that women or people generally should just look for either direct transfers, apps, something that they will not be able to have access to. As in, when I mean access to, if it's not an emergency, it's advisable that either they just from their apps do a direct, just move it to somewhere that they will not touch, except it is. I know someone, she opened an account and she said she didn't get ATM on it, she did not do any app on it, and that she, sometimes when she needs to go to the bank to go and she think about and say, no, if there's an alternative to this, let me go that route. And she was able to, the word discipline is key, because you cannot have that, how do I put it, financial independence, emergency funds without that discipline. Because if you put the money there, like I said, expenses will always come. Yes. You could just see something show his face and you'll be like, I will take it and return it. Sometimes you may not be able to return it. I always tell people, assume that you don't have money, except it is really an emergency. Tell yourself that money is not mine. If you can discipline yourself to the extent of saying, this amount that I've kept, and that's why you see, when in the olden days, what were they using? They were using kolo, that you can't, put your hand inside. Even the space was so small that you need to fold the money very flat and put it, and there's no way to come out. And you see them doing that, consistency, discipline. Maybe every day, 100 naira, 50 kobo, shilling, they will put it there, and at the end of the year, I see it so much. Now, that discipline is very important. And for you to tell yourself, this money I am keeping aside is only for emergency, is not mine. So if that situation is not an emergency, then you shouldn't go there. Now, because we're in technology age where there's apps and everything, that's why I'm recommending, if you do a direct transfer every month, say, okay, even if it's 100 naira. I tell people will say, how much is 100 naira? It's nothing. 100 naira every day, that's 36 naira, 36,500. As you are keeping it in that place you are keeping it, little thing will be dropping on it. I tell people, this is the analogy I use. Put a bucket, an empty bucket, put it under the tap, and let the water be dripping a drop at a time. Tung, I want the listeners to imagine after a week and you go back to that same bucket, what's going to happen? It can never be empty. Go back after a month, the level would have gone up. If you leave it and you don't touch it, you might be amazed after 1 year. Even it may not get up to 1 year, it would have started overflowing. So one has to be disciplined enough to say this money is for emergency, no matter how small. A lot of people will say, how much am I earning? The needs are too much. And you're telling me to keep something on the side. I say, okay, even start with 100 naira and tell yourself every day, I'm going to keep it aside. If you're a salary earner, tell yourself, okay, in the month, 3,650 or whatever, keep it aside and leave it and see what happens over the months. The power of compound interest, when it applies to that 100 naira that you are keeping aside every day, by the time you won't get the 6,500. That's not what you're going to get. Yeah. You're going to get that 6,500 plus X that would have accrued because of the power of compound interest. So imagine leaving that money for more than a year. You'll be amazed what you will get. But it has to be such that you tell yourself, this is only for emergencies. If it's not an emergency, I don't have it. That's what you should tell yourself. Because you are taking it out. So, and that's why I say, when you are budgeting, put there yourself. Maybe if you look at it that is myself, I will go back to it. For Mr. Emergency or for Mr. Tomorrow. That's what I usually write, Mr. Tomorrow. So I'm paying my tomorrow. So when I take that money aside, I've told myself it's for tomorrow, it's not for me. So should there be an emergency, and I know this is an emergency, life and death, then you can go there because you're actually saving for tomorrow. So, and that emergency will affect tomorrow. So why not take care of it today? But aside that, if it's not that, then borrowing money to sustain a lifestyle is not an emergency. It's not. I tell people, if what you can afford is bend down, pick it, wash it very well, iron it very well, and look good with it. So you don't have to use, so much, let me put it that way, to sustain a lifestyle. Because what happens tomorrow, if you are not able to sustain that lifestyle, that's what causes people to say, oh, things are bad, they want to give up, because they are living a life that they are not looking at tomorrow.
So talking about that, I'm guessing that's one of the mistakes that women make when it comes to finances. What are some other common mistakes that you notice that people make when it comes to money? That you're like, you can avoid this now. You can avoid this mistake that you're making now.
Wow. One of the mistakes is impulse buying. Oh my God, women. Okay. I see this, I pick it. Yeah. I like this. It happened to me some years ago before. What happened was I would just say, I think I need this thing and pick it. I think I need it. There was one day I now went home and I was checking and I discovered that I had so much of one particular item, and I told myself, and I was telling myself I needed it. So most of the time, before we go on buying, let's check. Do we really need it? Do we have it or we don't have it? Do we have substitutes to it? Because most of the time you see women, I need it. Give me 20. When they get to the house, they discover that they have like 10 already. So what happens? So impulse buying is a big mistake that affects women. Another mistake is trying to impress people. I tell people, don't borrow the money you don't have to impress the people that are not looking at you. That's the truth. A lot of women have this, mindset that they're looking at my clothes, they're looking at my shoe, they want to be sure. Who is looking at you? Sometimes you may be surprised that people are not, they may be looking at you, they may not even paying attention. Thank you. So why do you have to go and stress yourself with especially going to borrow money to sustain a lifestyle? Why? You don't need it. is a big mistake that a lot of people do. I want to show them. I want to, hey, let them know that I am the one doing something. No, you don't need it. You don't. So women need to avoid that mistake and then living above their means. I talked about financial independence taking a process. A lot of people want to live above their means.
What if my means is the one living above me? What if I'm meant to be living that means and the means is just moving up?
Good. So if you want to live that means, then it means that you need to do things that will earn you that income that you want to. And I tell people, I remember when I just first started, I actually got a fashion designer to sew very nice suits for me, and I was paying her in installments. And somebody said, no. I should go and buy. And I said, I should go and buy something and borrow money? No. So you see, I always tell people that as much as possible, you can live within your means. You can. The truth of the matter is, and if you see that what I want is more than what I have, then do things to earn you what you want. That's the thing. Now, it's very important. If you feel that, what I'm getting is not what I want, then look for things to do to earn you what you want.
All right, let's move away from that and let's get to talking about salaries now, or even earning better, which is also something that for a long time, when you're talking about women advocacy, it's something that comes up a lot of times. Talking about the salary difference, sometimes how women don't earn a whole lot of money. So as a woman, I think everybody generally, when you go for a job interview and stuff, it's so hard to negotiate. When you're a creative, that's another thing. It's so hard to say, this is the amount of money I'm going to get. And people just look at it and they're like, what can you do? I beg. They want to price you down. There's always that thing as well where people want to price you down. So as a woman, how do you negotiate a better salary? How do you negotiate a better pay so that you don't get underpaid while you're doing the same work maybe as maybe another man, but because you're a woman, you're getting paid less? And even generally, how do you just negotiate that? Okay, I'm supposed to be getting paid more. And then, there's also the fear of if I go and say 100 million, let them know, go and give me 100 naira, and then I'll now lose that opportunity. So how do you do that?
Well, the truth of the matter is, if we look at where we are, most of the time, your pay is not always commensurate to, let's just be honest about it. Most of the time, because if we were to look at, okay, this is how much value I'm bringing, how much time I'm putting in, this is what I should get. Most of the time it doesn't work that way, because from the other side, that's from the side of the employer, they are also looking at the big picture of being able to sustain that business, to be able to pay salaries, because they also have overheads. But what I always say is this: as much as possible, make yourself valuable. Acquire skills that will make you to be able to negotiate something better, and help you also to be able to continue that job. Now, imagine you enter an organization with BSc, for example, and after 10 years, all you have is BSc. If there is need to right size or downsize, you're going to be one of the first people that they will take away. If, for example, they want to increase pay and you are not bringing as much value as somebody else that has other skills, then you start complaining that, I'm not being paid as much. So I tell people, make yourself valuable. As much as possible, develop yourself, acquire skills. There's nothing wrong in acquiring. If you can acquire all the skills, acquire it, because you don't know which would come valuable. I met someone who said he's going to start learning French. And I was like, why? He said, because he just feels that it's going to be an added advantage. So that means such a person, after learning French, can actually work where? In Francophone countries. So the person is putting herself as another pedestrian to say, if I'm not able to get something in Nigeria, I can actually compete also with people in other countries. I know someone that transcribes, and she got a job in Canada transcribing French. So what has she done for herself? she equipped herself with another skill that would make her get more than any other person. So let's assume that you're working somewhere and they say, please, do we have anyone that can do graphic design, video editing? And you say, it's not my job now. My own job is just to sit down and say, hello, customers, how are you doing? And somebody says, I can do it. What's going to happen? The person will move, get more pay because the person is able to meet the need of the organization at that time, is bringing value. So what I would say is, people should continue to build capacity for better pay. Even if it doesn't come immediately, it's going to come later. So people should continue to build capacity. You know, during COVID, I took about 40 courses online and somebody was saying, only you? I said, yes, I'm building capacity because who knows where and when I will need it. Somebody calls me to come and speak. I don't know what is happening. I don't know the trends of things. Then how do I say I'm a consultant? So one must continue to build capacity. When you build capacity, make yourself valuable, then you can negotiate.
All right.
Okay.
Interesting stuff. All right, I would have to take another breather. I'll get back to a bit of the music still. And the Business Monday on the Alpha Show will continue on Lead Radio 106.3.
Can't get enough of us? Then check us out on the web, leadradio1063.com. You're the reason we keep trending on Twitter. Go.